thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. And by the way, this is going to be a very informal conversation, just you and me chit-chatting. But for those not familiar who might be watching a clip of this, do you mind sharing a little bit about your journey briefly so far in real estate?
Yeah, so I originally was born and raised in Wisconsin. I lived there for 18 years of my life, the first 18 years. And then I got my Wisconsin license, real estate license up there. Didn't do anything with it because I knew I was going to be moving down to Florida. Moved down to Florida. I got my Florida real estate license. Didn't know anyone down here. Didn't have any like relatives, anything like that. No like sphere of influence to rely on, the traditional stuff that people usually rely on when they first get started into real estate. So I really tried wanting to lean into, now this was obviously during the pandemic era when I moved down to Florida. And so I was really just curious, okay, like what am I going to use now? What am I going to figure out to get now business or get business from, at my point of view, a 19-year-old? Who's going to trust a 19-year-old to buy or sell a multi-million-dollar house? Because ideally in Sarasota, the average sales price was about $650,000 at the time. So I'm like, all right, so how am I going to do this? And for me, it was, I needed to prove myself. I needed to build some sort of social proof that I would be able to leverage myself, down the road, that I could show someone like, hey, I am competent. I do know what I'm doing. I do know the area. And so I really wanted to figure out what my unique selling proposition was, because once again, not many people would trust a 19-year-old. That's when I really started to figure out, okay, I really want to leverage social media. I want to leverage, how can I show someone without having to get in front of them? Because I was a very introverted person when I first got into real estate. I didn't really know what to do. I knew I wasn't going to door knock. I knew I wasn't going to cold call. It just wasn't in my DNA. It's just not who I am, not something I really feel comfortable doing, and something I didn't feel that I would be able to do long term. So what I ultimately decided was social media was the route. And for me, I needed to decide, okay, what are the main topics that I asked myself when I moved down here? Like, what are the main questions I had? And I built a whole entire, not storybook, but I built a whole entire like Google Doc of all these questions. And what I really wanted to do was just blast out as much as I possibly could, like information wise. And obviously we'll go in depth about that a little bit more, but I really just wanted to put everything out there and cast a wide net to see what ultimately I could get. And so through that, I learned a lot. There's a lot of, hard knocks along the way and stuff. But at the end of the day, that's where I've built everything that I've been able to do to this day. I'm 4.5, it's like 5 years now. October 2020 was when I joined EXP. And so it's almost been 5 years now. And so through that, I have now been able to grow almost 50,000 followers on TikTok, and then, 3,000 or 4,000 on Instagram, stuff like that. But it's really hyper local. It's not, nationwide. It's a super hyper local audience that I've been able to grow. And since then I've been able to get deals. I started in land selling $15,000 land deals to now having a $12 million listing from TikTok, actually, which is actually funny. It's ironic to see that. And I've gotten everything else in between, and I've built my entire business off of TikTok, honestly, through the relationships. I've built relationships to where I have now a custom home building company that I founded with my general contractor partner, and it's all been through TikTok and social media.
That's amazing. And congratulations. As an aside, you mentioned that Google Doc. If you still have a copy of that, I would love to see that. No pressure and no perfectly acceptable answer, but I would actually love to see a copy of that if you care to share.
Of course.
So, and for sake of context, and there's no right answer, right? Everybody's goals are different. Do you mind sharing, like maybe last 12 months, what your production is, and what percentage of that would you say actually came from your TikTok posts?
Yeah, so I would say the last rolling 12 months have been about 10 million,
which is
production.
And forgive me, you're about 24 years old.
Yeah, 24 years old. Yep.
Okay. There's a lot of people right now going, dang it, which is awesome.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I would say, well, if you're basing off of like Instagram and TikTok, all of my business besides probably about maybe $2 million, so $8 million out of the 10 has been from Instagram and TikTok. One either through relationship based through TikTok that I built relationships through, or directly from TikTok, or a direct referral from like an agent that has seen me on TikTok. So I like kind of categorize them all into one because at the end of the day, it's come from TikTok. And right now I have about $7 million in new construction builds that I'm doing on top of the $10 million just for our custom home building company. And that came from TikTok as well.
That's amazing. And congratulations on the success. I'm curious. So how do you go from an app where, I've got a daughter in dance, so I know who Charlie D'Amelio is, right? And she's out there doing the Renegade and all the other dance trends that have come since then. How do you go from that to production? Take me back to the beginning. You're staring at this app, probably scrolling through, and you think, man, I should do something on here. So what do you go do?
Yeah, so exactly. So a lot of people are like, when I first got started into TikTok, because when I got into it, it was probably, I posted my first TikTok December of 2020. It was nothing about real estate. I downloaded the app, I think December like 1st of 2020. And I really started focusing on it more so, I think May of 2021. And a lot of people are like, Noah, like some of the more seasoned agents, and everyone's like, oh, Noah, why are you doing TikTok? Like everyone just dances. Like TikTok is only a dancing app. Like that's the biggest thing. When I got started, everyone's like, you're not going to get business from it. No agents doing it really, but there was about 3 or 4 agents that actually grew a pretty good following in different parts of the country that I was using as more of a to look at to see what I could do. And also I was leveraging, Mike Sherrard and everything, since he was able to help me on that. But what I was thinking was like, okay, obviously I'm not going to dance. Like that makes no sense. That's not going to get business. And so I started like, okay, well, I'm not going to be like these dancers because all of those do is get views and you're not going to sell a multi-million-dollar house. It just looks weird. So I came from the point of view as, hey, I'm going to be not a news channel, so to speak, but more so of like an informational based platform. So like, once again, I reverted back to, okay, what are people looking for when they're looking to move to this area? Because Sarasota is a huge relocation area. And my thought was, obviously, ChatGPT really wasn't a thing at that time, or like AI really wasn't that huge of a thing. So a lot of people got their news or their basically their information from TikTok, Instagram, and those kind of things. And so I'm like, well, this is what I want to do is I just strictly want to be informational based. So I looked up a bunch of news articles. I did not know one thing about Sarasota when I first got started, which is the funniest thing. By doing TikTok, I learned so much about the area that I was learning as I was making the content. So it was kind of like not fake it till you make it, but more so like I was learning so much by reading all of these news articles. And I was like utilizing different features of the TikTok app that we'll talk about, like the green screen and stuff. Where I got started, I gained a pretty large following based off of my green screen effects, to where I was like looking at news articles in the background. And then I was basically regurgitating that information as if I was like a quote unquote news anchor. But, putting a little bit more of a funner twist to it that someone would actually really enjoy into like a cute, like little 24 to 30-second package.
Okay. And I'm curious, when you say virality, it sounded like that one particular instance that you mentioned is sort of a hotly debated topic, and that no doubt draws engagement, comments, and then comments about comments, and all that kind of stuff. People picking sides and whatnot. Is that typically what you mean when you say viral videos?
Correct. Yes. So more it's not like, it's more healthy controversial videos, I should say.
Okay.
So it's going to be the videos that people will, comment a lot about, something that people will be like, oh, I don't believe in this, or this shouldn't be a thing, or, oh, I absolutely love this, but some people are going to be hating it. It's going to be a video that's like very polarizing, but not like dangerously polarizing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You
political. Like I don't get political on my channel, nothing like that. It's just more so like this new law that went into effect.
Got you. And are you in any way sort of stoking that fire by asking a sort of controversial question, saying, let me know what you think in the comments?
Well, at the end of the video, I always do some sort of call to action. So like on those videos, I usually say something along the lines of like, all right, well, if you lived in Florida, would you abide by this law, or would you not? Or would you agree with this law? Like, what where do you guys stand on this? And then people comment and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get the comments, because at the end of the day, the more comments you get on the video, the higher it boosts in the algorithm. And then the more I see it, which means it casts a wider net for my more potential ideal customers to reach me and find me on my TikTok profile.
Okay. Well, and so speaking of your profile, if we can kind of start from the beginning. So I'm curious about your bio and profile information. Is there something about that you feel agents need to understand is important when they're setting up their TikTok profile?
Yeah, of course. So what I obviously did with my profile to start off super basic is, obviously I have my phone number in there for people to reach me. I have people text me more often than not. I'm going to have people text or call me. They're not going to click on my link, even though I see who clicks on it, where it's coming from and everything in my KV Core or Bold Trail now. I see that, but more so it's people that are coming from my texting me or calling me. I also say, obviously, I'm a realtor. I'm a broker associate. So I got my broker's license when I was 21 years old. I got it because I needed it as an authority thing. I didn't do it because I was going to go off on my own, start my own brokerage, anything like that. That was never my intent. I got it solely because I could say I'm a broker associate instead of a sales associate here in Florida. So it was funny because it really flipped the script on my investors that I worked with, that I was, selling their $1 million, $2 million, $3 million houses. When we flipped the script on that, then something went off in their head, which was quite interesting because it's just a title. But nothing changed in me personally. It was just that I could say I was a broker associate instead of a sales associate. So it kind of builds an authority. What was that?
I was just going to comment that whether that's real or perceived by you, it's important to have that kind of confidence, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. No. So it might be like it might be my own perception. It may make me a little bit more confident when I'm talking to people. When I first got started, I mean, it definitely made me more confident when I first started talking with people after I got my quote unquote broker's license. So maybe that also, I think it could just been a combination of multiple things. So obviously the top of my line obviously says what I do, my authority there being a broker associate, location, Sarasota, Florida, saying exactly where I live, where I work basically. And then also, since I'm leaning more onto the custom home building side, I do own a custom home building company. So I do have some people that come to me for building custom houses. So I have that as well. But some people put, what they specialize in. So like for me, I specialize in new construction. So when I didn't have a development company, I had new construction. That's what I put, new construction rep, or just like a new construction salesperson. That's mainly my whole thing when I got started in real estate, was solely new construction. Now it obviously has evolved about 5 years later. And then at the end of the bio, we have my phone number for, like I said, calling and texting.
Okay. And then I see the playlists, custom home builds, home building journey, and then I see travel there, and it looks like there's others.
Yeah, there's others. So like these were just things that I've posted in the past. I don't really use this anymore, hence why there's only 2 posts. Like this post is back from like 2 years ago, probably. I don't really do much with that. It just, to me, I just haven't found any benefit for it. And so even on your phone, it kind of like, it's tucked away on your phone to where it's very hard to find anyways. Yeah. On desktop, it's a little bit different. You can obviously see like these little icons, stuff like that, but I don't do anything with this anymore. Hence why you see this is gone now. Okay.
And then I'm kind of going linearly here. So pinned posts, and I've seen people's accounts where they have pins. I'm curious, why pin posts and why those 3 in particular?
Yeah, so I've had other videos that have had 3 million views, stuff like that. But these pin posts are posts that I have felt that, one, it would bring a lot of attention to people. Just because of the price point. This was, I think, $1.5 million house. This was another $1 million house. And this was just more of a $500,000, $600,000 house. So I felt, in my opinion, they showcase very well on video and camera. So that's kind of why I went with these posts. They did get a decent amount of views. So it kind of builds like, 450,000 people watch this video. It must be a good video. Like, that's another reason why I did it. But I mainly did it because like this is the style that everyone wants to see in Sarasota. So to me, it's just I believe those 3 pin posts are posts that people would want to actually see and would get their attention when they first clicked on my profile. Because if you look on your app, it's 3 rows across. So these are the top 3, right? So these are the first 3 videos that people will see. So once again, house tour videos, it's very eye-catching, catches people's attention. So I lock them in there. And then my next 3 are down here. So these are my most recent posts. Once again, I'm informational videos here. This is my general contractor partner. And then we have my house tour videos of another listing I just got here. I'm doing more informational based videos now than I do green screen.
Okay. And I want to ask you all sorts of questions about what you just said, but I'm curious. I've talked to Instagram agents, I've talked to YouTube agents, I've talked to Facebook agents, and they'll all, because the algorithms are all slightly different. Instagram, for example, what I've been told, I don't know this for sure, but that it places less emphasis on the hashtags than it used to. And now it's indexing the actual transcript from the video that the AI is creating, and those keywords that come up again and again in the actual script for the agents is part of what's helping them get found. Do you find that to be the case with TikTok? Do you know that to be the case with TikTok?
Yes, it is. It's becoming more the case. So TikTok used to be very heavily hashtag based, and TikTok was one of the first profiles to go, or was one of the first apps, I should say, or social media platforms to actually be indexed into Google. So they were where, you were searching on Google, and then in your, I don't even know if it's not going to show up here, but for example, what's going to happen is you type in Northport, Florida or whatever, and then it slowly over, like right in the midsection of the first page, videos would pop up saying, oh, Northport, Florida or whatever. And it would be a TikTok link. So it would be just like this, but it would show up as TikTok, and TikTok would be like right over in here. So that's why I put in my location. I put in the price. I put in anything that could be keyword searched in the description. And then I also say it in the first 5 seconds of my video, just in case if like that AI software or the AI picks up on the transcript and then indexes it that way. So I don't really heavily base my videos on hashtags anymore. I used to, but I just don't as much, just because now AI has gotten so powerful and indexing has gotten so much more powerful that they're pulling it directly from what you're saying on the videos.
Okay. And I want to ask you now about content creation, but before I do, is there anything else about your profile or anything aside from content creation you wanted to show or share?
So, I mean, I hate sharing it, but I always do it because people have asked me how I got started, right? So I have no clue why this says 0 views on here. It's, for some reason, the desktop app is really weird. So this was so I started, and this is very key to note here, because a lot of people ask me, they're like, Noah, like you got started, right, doing green screen, just using your iPhone, simple as that, right? And then you start getting more popular. Well, then why wouldn't you hire a videographer to do all of your content, right? And so for me, I sat down with a couple of my mentors and I'm like, I'm going to hire a videographer. I'm going to go professional. I'm going to make it look high quality, like a movie. And so I did. I deleted quite a few, or I just put them all private. But this was a stretch that I did about 5 months of professional videos, and it kept going all the way up to where I did very professionally edited videos that were, scripted, everything like that. And my view count went from, getting thousands of views on videos to now getting 400 views or like 300 views on videos, stuff like that. And to me, I spent so much money on professional videography to be able to do this, that the return was absolutely zero. Like, it was, a lot of people think better, like professionally edited quality is going to be the best quality. But when you go onto TikTok, you want a video, you don't want to scroll through and just see a bunch of ads. You don't want to see a bunch of, oh, he's just promoting Sarasota. Like, you want to see something that's genuine. Like, this video was shot all on my iPhone, and and it got 42,000 views in a matter of, this was 24 hours. It got about 35,000 views in 24 hours. But this was a very raw, unedited, like, yeah, I did edit it, but this was all shot from my iPhone. And this cost me $0 to make, versus every video that I created, I was paying my videographer $4,000 a month to do it.
Wow.
So to me, it's just one thing that I wanted to know going through my profiles. You're going to see an evolution of everything. Like I don't want to keep scrolling down here, but I will. So I've obviously changed in the last 5 years. And this is where, if anyone knows my backstory, like you'll see it on other social media platforms, but I've changed significantly over the last 5 years. A lot has changed in my life, everything like that. But I got started doing the green screen effect. And this is where I got my big start, doing the green screen over here, talking about like the top 3 Florida cities, the top 3 beaches in Sarasota, the top 3 restaurants in Sarasota. This is where I was getting 30,000 views consistently. If we keep scrolling down more on my videos, this is where I was getting all of my traction, strictly from the green screen. And then I started going up. I started changing it up, going from the green screen effect to talking more about fact-based information. You will see my evolution as you scroll up. You'll see the difference in content. Like there's no thumbnails in these videos. I found out that to me, it just looks better if there's thumbnails. It's easier to search, easier to look up. And then obviously you see my professionally, edited content, and then we switch it back up, go back to professionally edited content. And then we start going to house tour videos. And that's where I saw my other leap, was when I started jumping back into my house tour videos, is when I saw probably the most parabolic effect of my career, was when I started doing all of these. Like I was knocking out, posting a video every single day, house tour video, one after another. And that is where I really started to see my success, was the house tour videos. And I took a break because social media is exhausting. I took a hiatus for a little bit, relatively recently. And I told myself, I was like, Noah, like if you don't, your whole lead generation is based off of social media. And the one thing between TikTok and Instagram, or TikTok and YouTube, is that YouTube's evergreen, meaning that people can search a thing, like search on YouTube, like moving to Sarasota, right? And your video will always be there, or it's going to slowly index itself to wherever it falls in the algorithm. But TikTok is a very like, you show up and you're gone. So like you get all your views now, and then they're just like completely flatline. So TikTok and YouTube are very different in that respect, is that you can post 20 videos, YouTube videos, and people could go back a year from now and see all of your videos, while TikTok, it's here and now. So the video that pops up now, you're not going to see it again, most likely. Now, sometimes you have a video that pops off, it's been sitting there for 30 days, and then it jumps up to 100,000 views. It's really random, but it happens probably like 1 in every 100 videos that you make. At least from my case, it is. And so I told myself, and this was like more of a, let's actually test the validity of TikTok. And this happened like probably about 4 months ago, to where I'm like, all right, Noah, like it's time that you took a hiatus for a little bit, a month or whatever, from TikTok. Let's see if you can still do it, because a lot of people are like, if you stop posting on TikTok, the algorithm's not going to treat you well, stuff like that. There's a lot of like those rumors going around. So I wanted to test that. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take 10 days. I'm going to post 10 videos. And I think it was somewhere in here that I posted the video. Actually, it was like these videos right here. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to post these 10 videos after taking a month break. And I'm just going to do one a day, and let's see what happens. So I did these 10 videos here somewhere. Yeah. One of these rows. And obviously you saw 20,000 views, 10,000 views, 35,000, 40,000 views, those kind of things. And what I was able to do was, in that span of 10 days, I was able to get 3 buyers under contract from those 10 videos. And that netted me $40,000 in GCI.
Okay, great. And I'm curious, when you go to film a home tour video or what have you, your Sarasota, are you still using your iPhone to shoot it?
Yep.
And if so, are you using like a lav mic, or do you go back and do a voiceover afterward, or both?
So for my house tour videos, let's just click one, for example. So this one, This one right here. So this was all shot on my iPhone. So a lot of people are like, let's get fancy. Let's do a gimbal. iPhones have a pretty stable video quality. Like I am very stable with my iPhone and I don't like carrying around a bunch of equipment. I already care about around my camera gear and stuff. I don't need to carry around a gimbal for my phone. Some people do, some people don't. I just personally don't. And so what I do is I run through a house just like this. So a 2,000 square foot house, 22,000 to 2,400 square foot house will take me about, I want the video to be 1 minute or under. And then what I want to do is I take this 1 minute video. And so I go through. So what I do is I walk through the house. And then when I get to a room, I do a pan and then I move on to the next room of the house. And then I go through it and then I do another pan, right? So when I go into my editing, I'm able to do a 7x increase on where I'm walking. And then when I do a pan, I just go back to the typical 1x of what I was doing on the camera. And then after I'm done doing all that for the editing, then I use my shotgun mic that I have, and then I do a voiceover, and then I add all the text and post edit.
And you said you're using your shotgun mic. Are you doing that in a separate application, or how are you doing the voiceover?
Yep. So what I do is, I take this app, or I shoot it on my iPhone. And then what I do is I use InShot Pro. Some people use CapCut. I also use CapCut from time to time, but I got started on InShot, and I'm a person that, like, once I start something, I don't like to shift to another thing, even though CapCut has a lot more cooler features, stuff like that. I just haven't really got around to exploring that too much. So what I do is I use InShot Pro as my app. And so I upload all the footage. It's all on your phone. It takes me about 15 minutes to edit one of these videos. Obviously it has a voiceover feature there to where I can just connect my shotgun mic to my iPhone. And then I do the voiceover after I'm done editing, like doing all the speed ramp, stuff like that on my video. I'm able to do that. And then once I'm done doing the voiceover, then I do the text overlays, all in the InShot app.
Okay. And so, start to finish, including, like the thinking about the shots you're going to do and then actually shooting it and editing it. How long does it take you to do a video?
Yeah. So once I'm done, so when I go through the house, and this is easier since it's just right here. So this house right here, oh, it's trouble playing. I don't know why. Let's just go this one. So
yeah, they are not a desktop native application.
What was that?
I was saying TikTok is not a desktop friendly application.
It is not a desktop friendly application whatsoever. So like this, you never have to plan. This is what I love about house tour videos is you never have to plan. All you do is you turn on the lights of the house, you walk through the house, because then you get an idea of, okay, where are you going to be walking through? And then you just go through and simply walk through the house, do your, the pans, the walking through, taking all the video, right? So you got that. Once you get back to your office or wherever, you upload it into the app. And right now I timed myself to where initially it took me about 25 minutes to edit one of these videos, to where I was going through, doing all the clips, the edits, the cuts in there. And then I was doing the voiceovers and then the text overlays. That would take me 25 minutes. But now that I've done it for quite some time, it takes me about 15 minutes. Now I can do it down to 12 if I really hurried up. But 12 to 15 minutes is how long it would take me to do this video right here after I'm done shooting it.
Okay. So really we're talking about kind of soup to nuts, about an hour of time. And
in theory, yes. Yep.
Yeah, it may be a little bit longer, and maybe some people would go, "Oh, that's a lot of time to spend making a video." But how much time do you spend lead generating? And that's what this is, right?
Correct. Well, that's where you go if I don't mind, but if, like, for me, my whole lead generation is social media. So like, just like some people do cold calling, some people's main things are cold calling. So you can spend 2 hours cold calling. I spend my 2 hours doing videos. That's my lead gen. That's the only thing I do is social media and videos. So for me, It's not that much time.
Okay. And I know you're not using the same videos necessarily for YouTube and TikTok. Are you reusing the TikTok videos on Insta? Or do you shoot something completely different?
Yes. So what I do is, since I shoot it in a third-party app, I don't edit anything in the Instagram platform or the TikTok platform. I do it all through a third-party app, InShot. And then so what I do is, once I download all of that, I have it in my camera roll, and then I upload my TikTok video. So you can do it vice versa. But like for me, if I batch, let's say 5 videos, knock out 5 house tour videos, I will post, say, video number 1 on my TikTok. And then that same day, I'll post video number 2, or house number 2, I should say, on my Instagram. And then eventually, like on day 3, I would post video 1, which I posted on TikTok, and post it to my Instagram. And the reason why I
Got it.
do this is because if someone was to find me on TikTok, or if someone was to find me on Instagram, they're both linked to each other. So like in terms of like putting my links in the bio. So if someone clicked on my TikTok, or if they clicked on my Instagram and they see the exact same carousels of these same videos, they're like, why would I follow this guy if all he does is post the exact same videos? It doesn't make sense. So for me, it's more of an eye disruption to say, post this video here on TikTok and then post it 5 days from now on Instagram, so my feeds look completely different to the naked eye.
Okay. But and is that to say then, though, you are using that same clip?
Yep, the exact same video. Just different. I just basically copy and paste the description, put it into TikTok, put it into Instagram, and YouTube Shorts.
And YouTube short. Okay, so you're not only doing long form on YouTube, you're doing short form there as well.
Yep, yeah, because like to me, it's like I already created the video, I already created the description, I created everything for it. So why not take the extra 3 minutes it takes to upload it into another platform, YouTube Shorts, that it could get more eyeballs, could get more traction to feed my long form content? Because that's where I see my YouTube Shorts is. Obviously, you guys have done videos of it, but that's what I use, is capturing more people on my YouTube Shorts to go to my long form.
Especially when I talk to the Instagram agents, they all kind of underscore the importance of posting with consistent regularity. One of our top Instagram-based agents said, if you're not posting daily, you're not getting the most out of that application. For you, do you find that consistency? We kind of talked about this earlier. You posted your 10 videos after a little bit of hiatus. When you were on that hiatus, did you notice a decrease in the amount of leads coming off of the app?
That's correct. So like for me, like I said, is like TikTok is a very here and now type of business, in terms of they see the video. That's the only time they're going to see your video probably, or if it may pop up 3 days from now or whatever. So if you're not constantly creating these videos, you're not constantly creating opportunities for people to see you, because just like every other person, people are creating content every single day, posting on the app. I mean, people are posting on TikTok 2 to 4 times a day, like whether it's TikTok stories or just quick little videos. But like for me, you can't post 4 times a day. It's just not, to me, it's just not, you can't do it long term. And like I discussed earlier, is like when I got started, my hugest, probably the biggest parabolic effect that I had with my TikTok was being able to post 3 times a day for 90 days straight, not missing one single day. That is where I grew that's where I grew the biggest amount of my business, or the biggest amount of my following was in that 90-day span. And then obviously I had enough business to where I couldn't keep up with 3 videos a day. So then I went to 2 videos a day for 60 days, and then 1 video a day for the rest of the time being. If I could keep up 3 videos every single day on TikTok, I could almost guarantee you that I would be doing triple or quadruple the amount of business that I'm doing, just because I've seen it done from my own previous experience. And it just, to me, it's just, you just have to be consistent. The more consistent you are, the more videos you're putting out, the more chances you have for eyeballs to actually see you.
Got it. I'm curious. So you got 50,000 followers. You get videos with a lot of views.
Yep.
What I've come to experience from the YouTube agents is they're good at getting subscribers and things like that. But you can have a video that has, very little views, but generates a lot of business.
Yep.
Do you find that to be the case for TikTok as well?
I do find that to be the case on some videos. And the reason why I say that is because there's two different reasons why you're going to be getting low views on your videos. Is one, it's either a super hyper local like topic that you're talking about, but yet you still produced it quite well. Or two, it's a video that was subpar, your camera was angled, and the audio is like muffled, crackly, or maybe it's a foggy camera lens or whatever that may be. That is another reason why you'd be getting low views. And so if it was the latter of the video effect, you're not going to be getting leads in my, from what I've seen. You're not going to be getting the quality of leads you're wanting, the number of leads you're wanting, because it, one, is not valuable. Two, it's who would want to listen to crappy audio. And three, you're just positioning yourself not as like, you're not well put together, versus a hyper local video of, let's just say, actually, I have an example here for my construction company. I think it was actually this one, the digging the pool, 830 views, right? To me, that's not a lot of views. Some people it's a lot of views, but when my other videos are getting 15,000 views or whatever right here, 800 views is nothing. However, this was a hyper local video that talked about building a pool in a new construction, on a new construction build, what exactly to look for when building a pool, right? And we actually had a person reach out to us saying, hey, Noah, we were about to start a new construction build. We want to start working with whoever you're working with a pool company. Now, obviously, we don't own a pool company, so it really didn't benefit me. But this is where you're going to get people actually reaching out to you, is by providing, when you have great audio, great video, great visuals, and you have a high value target video, that is where you will get maybe lower views, but yet you'll get a higher quality of a lead content. I have people that say, hey, Noah, I just watched your video you put out tonight. And they text me. If it's late at night, they're going to text me. If it's during earlier in the day, they're going to call me. And they're going to be like, hey, one, we're vacationing here in Sarasota this week. We want to come and see because we're looking at moving to the area, right? That's one of them. All of my call to actions are directly to my phone number. I don't do relocation guides on my TikTok, but I do it on my YouTube, just different. I just want direct to consumer to my phone, text me with questions, call me with questions, whatever that may be. That's my call to action, is just reach out to me directly. So people are texting me, calling me, or whatever. And then a lot of people, before we end here, is my sales cycle, because TikTok historically has a higher sales cycle than, say, YouTube. So I have people from all different regions. I've had people that have called me from TikTok really recently, actually called me from TikTok. We were under contract within 5 days, and we closed on a house within 30 days of them reaching out to me. And then I've had people that have been watching me for the last 12 months, and now they're finally ready to buy a house. So you get everyone, wide range of people, whether they're moving, they'll close in 30 days or they'll close in 12 months, just like any other lead platform. It just really, really depends. I would say my average sales history, or my sales cycle here, is about 3 to 6 months on TikTok.
That's amazing. Again, congratulations on your success. That's awesome. And thanks very much for taking the time to kind of walk us through this and explain this to us. It has been great.